Hello ladies and gentlemen and movie lovers of all kind, and welcome back to another Top 10 Wednesday, or Top 10's Day if you'd prefer. Today's Top 10 is going to be in preparation of the upcoming Avengers Endgame. Therefore, it is going to be Top 10 Avengers movie moments. So without further ado, let's hop right into it. Coming in at number 10 is Dull Creature. This moment comes from the first Avengers. It is quite possibly the hardest I have ever laughed in a Marvel movie. It's such an unexpected, great comedic moment. It is the moment when Loki says, all of you are beneath me, I will not be bullied by some dull creature, and then the Hulk just picks him up by the legs and ragdolls him back and forth, repeatedly smashing him, even taking a quick second to look at him, and then just keeps smashing him a few more times, and that literally takes Loki out of the rest of the third act of the movie. It's completely hilarious, so unexpected, and I will never forget how hard I laughed when that moment first appeared on the screen. Coming in at number 9 is going to be a two-parter, and it's because it's both from the same battle, and that is Leading the Charge / the big entrance from Avengers Infinity War. The Leading the Charge moment is such an exhilarating moment. It just shows what true badasses these two characters are, and it is when the Battle of Wakanda really does kick off, when they open the barrier, they let Thanos' army in, you just see Captain America and Black Panther flying through the crowd and leading the charge, being the first in the battle. It's such an amazing moment. It shows that they are both leaders, they are willing to fight and do whatever it takes. It is such a kick-ass moment, and of course quite possibly the best entrance of the entire movie, or best entrance of any Marvel movie ever, and that is when Thor, Rocket, and Groot land down in the Battle of Wakanda. The music kicks in, you see Stormbreaker flying through, ripping apart Thanos' army. It is epic beyond words, and more than deserving of a spot on this list. Coming in at number 8 is a heartbreaking moment from the first Avengers, and I'm going to title it The Lack of Conviction. Just shortly after Agent Coulson gives the lack of conviction speech to Loki, telling Loki that no matter what he does, he is going to lose, and out of nowhere, the trickster does it again and puts his scepter directly through Agent Coulson's heart, and presumably killing him. This moment was so unexpected. It is another one of many moments from that movie. It absolutely breaks your heart. As you have seen Coulson throughout each and every movie leading up to the first Avengers, the guy's got so much heart and love for the team, Captain America in particular, and what this does is give Nick Fury the ability to use this to his advantage to bring the team together, and of course it leads to the still ongoing Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. spin-off starring Agent Coulson. Coming in at number 7 is going to be the Vision. This moment comes from Avengers Age of Ultron, and it is the birth of the Vision. When they are all arguing whether to bring Vision to life or not, Thor comes out of nowhere and just does it anyway. This leads up to a character which is arguably one of the most important characters going forward. Why? Because of the thing in the center of his forehead. But not only that, it leads to so many other things, like now the loss of Jarvis for Tony, as Jarvis is embedded in Vision, as well as all the things involving Vision going forward, like his relationship with Scarlet Witch, as well as the events of Civil War in which he takes Rhodey out and makes him paralyzed from the waist down, and of course, like I said, the Mind Stone, which leads to him being one of the centerpieces of all of Infinity War and one of the most important characters. Coming in at number 6 is Puppets on Strings. This moment is again from Avengers Age of Ultron, and it is the introduction of another character, but this time it's the villain himself, Ultron. This moment is so epic because it's a destroyed, falling apart bot that Tony has. You just hear him scraping on out, and then you have that haunting voice.
I was a dream.
It sends chills down your spine, and I adore him as Ultron. It leads to the rest of Age of Ultron. It leads to the mistrust that eventually goes into Civil War between Tony and Steve, and then it went from being a bot that was supposed to save the world to a murderous death bot hell-bent on taking out the planet. And then we also have the fact that Ultron then goes on to recruit the twins, being Quicksilver and Scarlet Witch, and then they are a part of the team by the end of the movie. So the creation of Ultron leads to a whole lot more than I think people really give it credit for. Coming in at number 5 is Tony's attempted sacrifice. This moment comes from the first Avengers, and it is when Tony takes the nuke that is headed for New York City and drives it straight up the wormhole in the middle of the sky. In doing so, he believes that it is a one-way trip and that he is not going to make it back out, but of course we know at the very last second he does. This moment is a fantastic character moment because a person who is so full of themselves and has such a large ego is willing to literally send themselves out to space to die to save his friends and the people of New York City. But not only that, it leads to so much more that even continues on now into Endgame. It leads to Tony's PTSD in Iron Man 3, 3, it leads to Tony's nightmare that Scarlet Witch gives him in Age of Ultron, and of course it somehow connects him to Thanos as we find out in Avengers Infinity War. This moment is one that will stick with you for such a long time as it is a huge sacrifice, and we really do believe for a second that we are going to lose Tony, and it sets up Tony's arc for the rest of the MCU. Coming in at number 4 is going to be A Soul for a Soul. This moment is another heartbreaker which comes from Avengers Infinity War, and it is when Thanos realizes that he must sacrifice Gamora in order to gain the Soul Stone. It gives Thanos so much more depth and emotion than anyone could have expected this big baddie to have. He truthfully and honestly does believe in his mission, and he is willing to sacrifice his daughter, whom he actually loves, to get this. Like he said, he ignored his destiny once and he will not do it again, and he even sheds tears for her. This moment broke me, and this was a villain that we're supposed to hate, but for some reason this moment still just absolutely crushes your soul. Coming in at number 3 is a moment I feel like a lot of people overlook again, and it is what I'm going to call "you didn't see that coming," and it is the moment in Avengers Age of Ultron in which Quicksilver sacrifices himself to save Hawkeye and a little boy. Although we didn't get to know Quicksilver for very long and he didn't have such a fantastic character, it sets up a lot of things going forward. One thing big in particular is that it seems to unlock Scarlet Witch's full powers, and from that point on, she's able to hold back Thanos' almost full gauntlet, as well as destroy the Mind Stone. She becomes such an epic and powerful Avenger, and I believe it all leads back to this moment, as well as it leads to Hawkeye retiring because he realizes that he left his family to come out and do this one last time, and he almost died doing it again. The more and more I watch it, the more and more I realize how much more of an impact it carries than most people think. Coming in at number 2 is going to be the snap. This moment, we should all know by now, comes at the very end of Avengers Infinity War. Stormbreaker flies through the gauntlet's full power, smashing into Thanos' chest. Thor pushes it even deeper, telling him he told him he would die for that, and then you get that line.
You should have gone for the head.
Half of the MCU disappears in the blink of an eye. It sets up Endgame with thousands upon thousands of theories coming out of it, as well as it is quite possibly the most shocking ending of the 21st century, quite possibly the most shocking ending of any film ever. And coming in at number 1 is going to be Avengers Assemble. It is that spinning shot from the first Avengers movie when the team finally comes together as an actual team. No more fighting each other, no more bickering. They have come together, they stand in a circle, prepared to take on the final massive wave from Loki's army. This moment gave me goosebumps, gave me chills, made me feel so exhilarated, so pumped, full of adrenaline and hope. I will never forget the first time I saw this moment. I will never forget that feeling that it gave me, and this moment is by far my favorite moment from any of the Avengers movies. So if you like this video, be sure to like, subscribe, and comment, and let me know what was your favorite moment from any of the Avengers movies. And as always, thank you so much for watching, and that's a wrap.